Hello my dear friends and welcome to a new video from Mad Max Deals and Reviews. Today I want to present you the Brinyte T28 Artemis, which is a really different flashlight. It has a white LED and with one switch it's a green LED. Another switch, it's a red LED. And there is a zooming function. And there is a stepless dimming function with a mechanical switch, which is quite unique, I think. So in a second we speak about the features. But at first I want to say thank you to Sven Stevich from the Home of Flashlights who sponsored me this flashlight so I can show it to you. And while the intro, which is coming in a few seconds, runs, please enjoy the music and scroll down a little bit to look at my links down there. There is a link to my deals community, there's a link to my blog, and maybe at the end of the video, if you have liked my work, please leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, or consider subscribing to help me with my work. See you soon. Okay, let's go. At first I want to show you what's in the box very shortly. That on the side, the box is in drawer. There is a really nice cutout in the foam, which is, I'm quite sure, very well protecting the flashlight during transportation. There is the compartment for the accessories, which are the user manual in English, in a nice way to present it. There is a USB Type-C charging cable, which, and I have to mention that, is 1 meter long. And it's covered in some kind of fabric, so it looks very high quality. Other manufacturers, they give you 10 centimeters of charging cable, so you can then hang your devices while charging on the power outlet on the wall. So, okay, but this is cool. They are also adding 2 O-rings for the tail caps. Tail caps, I said 2, because they also include a remote switch, which I will show and explain a little bit later on. So that's for the accessories. Put them away. Put this here. Now the flashlight and its features. It has a flat Fresnel lens for the zoom function. There is a switch for changing with one finger from white, like marked with a W, to green with a G, and there is an R for red. Easy. It couldn't be any easier. I really like this. How this is made internally with the mechanical setup and the advantages and disadvantages I'm thinking about. I have to disassemble something and there will be a follow-up video, because when I break it, I would not have been able to show it to you today. And I made a lot of measurements, which would have also been too much for today. So there will be a follow-up video for more details, more numbers, more insights. But for today, it works, and I tried it really often, and I don't think that's gonna fail. The tail cap has this switch, which is a turn knob. If you turn it counterclockwise, it goes dimmer, and if you turn it up, crank it to clockwise, it goes on to full brightness. So you can decide, have it to full brightness and then switch it on. Short click is off. Or you want to start in moon mode, lowest, click and hold 1.5 seconds, then it comes on. You see, it's really on. Short click for off. And that's it. You can choose the brightness, even if it's on or off. So there's your memory mode as well. If you do not turn from between switching off to on, it memorizes, of course, the last position. And maybe the position there is, if there would have been a marking with a white dot or whatever, for the max and the minimum, and so you can see if you are where you are. So that would be a little improvement. Or if you're somewhere in between, and where are you in between? But that's a minor problem in my thinking. Let's speak about the Fresnel lens. If you are not familiar with that, you know, most of the Zoomies use like this, a spheric lens, which is a part of a sphere. And I will have a picture to explain a little better. If you cut this spheric lenses into small shapes, small slices, and you compress them so you just have the reflective surfaces and the reflective angles, because you do not need the inside of the sphere, you just need the borders, the angles there. If you compress this into one, you get a Fresnel lens, which is used here. The benefit is it's flat. Nothing sticks out to be scratched easily. Another advantage is it's lightweight, so the flashlight is very even balanced here in the switch section. The downside is it can be scratched. It's made from plastic, and there will be, and I managed to have scratches in there, but I cannot see the 2 scratches I already have. They do not affect the beam quality. And an advantage is these things are quite cheap, so if it breaks, I'm very sure you can get a replacement easily. Going to the other side, if I remove this tail cap, this has square cut threads, they are nicely done, but there is on one part the anodization is not completely turned off. There is a single O-ring and a single spring, but there is really low amps, as you will see later on, so it is no problem not to have double springs. As said, a spring on the tail cap, and there is a spring on the driver, which is when you have it mounted on a gun and you get the recoil, then it's a benefit having the cell being balanced in between the springs so it doesn't come off and disconnect. The cell itself is a 21700 with 5000 milliamps, and they include a cell with the charging port. So there is no charging port on the flashlight, making problems with the sealing, and if you have this rubber flappy caps or whatever thing you have to do, just put the charging port on the battery, then you can take out the battery and plug it on your charger, and meanwhile take the replacement battery in there. And I tried, due to the double spring design, you can nearly use any 21700 cell. It eats all the lengths I have, so no problem here. Speaking with that, yeah, maybe the user interface. As you have seen with the regular cap, you have to click and hold for 1.5 seconds on which position, which brightness you choose. 1.5 seconds of hold is on, short click is off. There is no strobe, there is no blinky, whatever. That's a really nice thing. If you use the remote switch, and I can demonstrate to you, there is no click and hold, because if you want have it mounted on your gun, maybe you just want in the middle is the on off, and then there is the minus for decreasing the brightness, there is a plus for increasing the brightness. Easy, on off, bright, plus, minus. What else? Well, that's cool. That's really well made in a way, easy to operate, easy to give away, easy to use in the fields. Yeah, I think that's it on this. I have made some white wall shots to show you how this beam collimates, and that there are some artifacts from the inner construction, which will be in the second video too, and I show it to you now. I'm about 2 meters away from the wall, from maximum zoom out to maximum zoom in, and what I want to show you is, if I turn on the brightness, you see these rings here. This is not from the Fresnel lens, this is from inside the flashlight. Of course, Works for red and green, and this spot is very nice. We just have a small, let's try lower brightness. So you see there is a bright spot in there in all the colors, and there is this bright ring on the outside, which is from the Fresnel lens from the construction. Okay, I will now show you the sheet with all the measurements I took, and I'll explain it from the computer microphone. So as you see, that's a lot of numbers, but we will concentrate on this. As you can see, I did all the same measurements to all the three colors. I measured zoomed in, where the highest row is weighted. I measured zoomed out, where the highest brightness is taken. Then I measured the same zoomed in and zoomed out using the remote switch, as there is a difference. And I measured in direct drive, so I bridged somehow the tail cap to get the maximum out of the LEDs. And this is how I measured the current using thick wires. So at first go for white. Zoomed in, I get a value of 80 kilocandela for this row, which is nearly 15% higher than the advertised amount. And for the maximum lumen in zoomed out, I get 602 tops, which is a little bit more than 7% less than advertised. And I measured 2.8 amps. With the remote switch, I had reduced brightness. I had only 68 kilocandela for this row, which is just 1.2% more than advertised, and 20% loss in the lumens. I measured 515 lumens and just 2.27 amps. When I shortcutted the till, I got 3.9 amps, and which resulted in 785 lumens, which is 20% more than advertised. For the colors, I have to warn you, the lux meters I use are not very famous for reading accurate numbers, but I guess the relation between zoomed in and zoomed out and the remote switch and so on, and being direct drive, that this relation will stay correct. One funny thing is the remote switch did not lower the values between on both colors. So the red was a maximum throw of 35.8 kilocandela, which is more than double than advertised, and the maximum lumens is 190 lumens in red, which is 35% higher than advertised, using 1.23 amps. As I said, same with the remote switch, and 1.47 amps when I direct drived it, which resulted in 215 lumens measured. For the green, I got 40.7 kilocandela, which is about 40% higher than advertised. The maximum lumen was 155, about 19% higher than advertised, and consuming 1.23 amps. And it was 1.49 amps in the direct drive, resulting in 179 lumens. The last picture is the runtime, and as you noticed, it started immediately from 600 lumen to 545 lumens within 14 minutes, because there is a really big relation between the voltage of the battery and the lumen you get out. Then it dropped after 40 minutes to about 260, and then it dropped lower and lower and lower as the voltage of the battery went down. It took a total of 3 hours and 15 minutes to be below the 200 lumen barrier, and the 4 lumens were reached after 8 hours and 30 minutes. So it was dim, of course, but it lasted forever. So the big 5000 milliamp cell really pays off in runtime. And the maximum temperature at the switch did not even reach 43 degrees Celsius, so it stayed quite cool, but that's due to the design, which we will see in the second video. Okay, hopefully you now want to see more. So please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you see when the second video is coming up. And before we go outside in my garden, and I will also add in the end all the beam shots where I took the T28A Artemis, sorry again, I took it into a tunnel, into my bunker. You can see how it performs there. I have to say thank you for watching. Hopefully you liked my presentation. Click this subscribe button, click the thumbs up, click on my links and look what else you can get from my communities. And yeah, see you then. So welcome in my garden, today with a different setup. This is the Zoomint FW3A with a triple LED producing 1000 neutral white lumens. The big tree down there, the trunk is 25 meters away, and the small tree in the front, this one, that's 15 meters. Other than on my usual setups, I tilted the camera more upwards because I want to show you the whole tree from this distance. And as you see, with this floody optic from the Zoomint, you have a hotspot, some kind of. You can of course see the whole tree, but it has a brighter part in the middle now. If we now use the T28, starting in the low mode, going to full power in white, the whole tree is the same illumination is on the whole tree. Of course, if I zoom in, there's just the image of the LED in green, white, red. If we zoom out, there's a green tree. I can show this even illumination or cover the whole tree, more than the whole tree, with this small bright spot in the middle in white. Of course, also in red. Going back to white, and I have a green flashlight to compare from Werbung, the T10 HG with an Osram green LED, which is obviously more into the yellow compared to the Cree XPE, but it has a lot more lumens. That's 200 something. And if you go to full, this is 650 lumens in green compared to the T28. And there is a lot of light in the spill. If we defocus the green one from the T28, now the T10, as you see, really bright one, but not down the tunnel. So that's the downside for many people of a zoom flashlight. Very nice to demonstrate here. So you can have either throw, something in the middle. So that's not throw and not flood or flood. And the nice thing of this Brinyte is you can easily switch to green, white, red. This is cool. There is a slider in the flashlight, and I will have, of course, a more nicer review of that. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you liked my presentation, and maybe you tune in for part number 2, where I try to go inside the flashlight, explain more of the numbers and some of my thoughts. So Stay tuned. Bye bye.